In 2017, the world's biggest illegal marketplace vanished overnight. Billions in trades, hundreds of thousands of users, gone. And at the center of it all, a young Canadian in Thailand who made one tiny, fatal mistake. He reused his personal email address. This is the story of AlphaBay, the dark web empire that grew even bigger than Silk Road, and the mysterious life and sudden death of its creator, Alexandre Cazes. A man who drove luxury cars, lived in tropical villas, and was brought down by something as simple as an email. To understand AlphaBay, we need to go back to Silk Road. Launched in 2011, Silk Road was the first major dark web marketplace, a place where drugs, hacking tools, and fake documents were traded using Bitcoin. When it was shut down in 2013 and its founder, Ross Ulbricht, was arrested, many thought that was the end of dark web markets. They were wrong. The fall of Silk Road didn't kill the idea. It proved that there was massive demand, and in the power vacuum that followed, a new generation of marketplaces emerged, more professional, more secure, and much, much bigger. At the top of that new wave stood one name: AlphaBay. AlphaBay launched in late 2014. Hidden behind the Tor network, it looked like a polished e-commerce site, except instead of electronics and clothes, it offered narcotics, stolen data, hacked accounts, weapons listings, and more. It quickly earned a reputation for slick design, strong security, and responsive customer support. On the dark web, this was Amazon meets eBay for crime. Within just a few years, AlphaBay exploded. Authorities later estimated it hosted over 350,000 listings and hundreds of thousands of users. Some investigators believe AlphaBay was responsible for more than $1 billion worth of transactions in cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Monero. Compared to Silk Road, it wasn't just bigger, it was on another level. Behind the username admin and later AlphaZoo2 was a man few people had heard of, Alexandre Cazes. Born in 1991 in Canada, Cazes was a self-taught computer whiz. By his mid-20s, he had transformed from a freelance tech worker into the alleged mastermind of the largest dark web marketplace on the planet. On the surface, Cazes was living the dream. He settled in Thailand, married a local woman, and surrounded himself with wealth. Investigators would later seize multiple luxury cars: a Lamborghini, a Porsche, a BMW, along with high-end properties in Thailand, Cyprus, and elsewhere. For someone in his mid-20s, his lifestyle looked like that of a tech millionaire. But Cazes wasn't a typical startup founder. His fortune was tied to an underground economy of drugs, stolen identities, and cybercrime. Still, he behaved like a successful entrepreneur. He bragged in private notes about his net worth. He kept detailed spreadsheets. He even wrote what appeared to be a kind of personal resume, listing himself as an entrepreneur and business owner. The irony is that Cazes put enormous effort into security. AlphaBay used Tor for anonymity, encrypted communications, and complex server setups. The site encouraged users to use PGP encryption and privacy coins. To most of the world, AlphaBay was almost impossible to trace. But all that high-level security didn't protect Cazes from one small, very human mistake. When AlphaBay first launched, some early emails sent to users like welcome messages and support responses contained a contact email address. That address was a personal one, a simple Gmail account linked directly to Alexandre Cazes. Investigators later said that this reused email was one of the first and most important breadcrumbs that pointed them to their suspect. From that email, law enforcement traced accounts, IP logs, and related online activity. Over time, they quietly connected the dots: the email, the online alias, the forum profiles, and finally, the real person living comfortably in Thailand. While AlphaBay users believed they were operating in total anonymity, a digital trail was slowly forming around its administrator. The investigation turned into a massive international operation. Agencies from the United States, Canada, Thailand, and several European countries coordinated in secret. They identified AlphaBay servers, tracked cryptocurrency flows, and mapped out Cazes' assets around the world. The plan wasn't just to arrest him, it was to decapitate the entire marketplace in one decisive strike. In early July 2017, the operation began. Thai police, working with the FBI and DEA, moved in to arrest Cazes in Bangkok. At the same time, servers linked to AlphaBay were seized in multiple countries. According to reports, investigators timed the arrest so they could catch Cazes while he was logged into his administrator account, preventing him from encrypting or wiping critical data. Cazes was taken into custody and held at a Thai detention center. Prosecutors in the United States prepared charges including conspiracy to engage in racketeering, narcotics distribution, identity theft, and money laundering. For law enforcement, this was the biggest dark web takedown in history. But just days after his arrest, the story took a tragic and controversial turn. On July 12, 2017, Alexandre Cazes was found dead in his jail cell in Thailand, reportedly took their own life. He was 26 years old. His sudden death meant there would be no high-profile trial, no public testimony, and no chance to hear his side of the story. For many, it felt like the curtain had fallen just as the main act was about to begin. After his death, authorities moved quickly to seize his assets. They confiscated millions in cryptocurrency, luxury cars, and properties. It was one of the largest asset seizures in a cybercrime case. AlphaBay users, meanwhile, were left in panic. Many lost funds they had stored on the site. Others feared that their private messages and order histories were now in the hands of law enforcement. The fall of AlphaBay sent a shockwave through the dark web ecosystem. For a while, markets went quiet. Some shut down voluntarily, others tried to claim AlphaBay's throne, but with users now more paranoid and law enforcement more experienced, the golden age of massive, centralized dark web markets was clearly under threat. Alexandre Cazes' story is a paradox. A talented programmer who built a global criminal empire, lived like a tech millionaire, and yet was reportedly undone by something as simple as reusing a personal email. It's a reminder that in the digital world, the smallest details can destroy the biggest illusions of anonymity. AlphaBay's rise and fall show how fragile online empires really are, no matter how hidden they seem. If you found this story of the dark web's biggest marketplace interesting, consider subscribing for more deep dives into the hidden side of the internet, cybercrime, and the people behind it.